tip is coming to you from just a moment ago, literally 5 seconds ago. If you have kids at home and they come in, you can actually invite them to be a part of the call. Surprising, a lot of people are cool because it's been 2 years since 2020. We're all kind of used to it. What I like to do is when my kids come in the call, they know my role. If you come into a business call, you gotta 1, introduce yourself. Tell us your name. 2, tell us how old you are. And 3, tell us what you do, which is funny because my oldest one says, arts and crafts. Exactly. But I let them introduce themselves. It breaks the ice. It often lets, especially if it's a networking thing and not a sales call situation, which surprisingly turns out okay too, because they get to know the person they're working with. But that's the thing. In networking, it's so important to build that know, like, and trust. Get to know the person you're talking to. And when I bring my kids in, it's relatable. It happens. It's been everyone's life since 2020. 2 years ago, right? So bringing the kids in and having them be civil and even goofing off a little bit with them is fine. I also have a rule though. When you come in and the doors close and I'm on a call, you introduce yourself, you say hi, and then you don't come back until the call is over. But it's good to have ground rules with your kids. 1, it's good to introduce them if they show up. 2, and 3, everyone's used to it. It seems to make me, at least, a lot more relatable, and people have a good time with it. Plus, kids are cute. You can't go wrong, unless they're like angry. Then I'll know about that. How to look good networking on Zoom. Set up your camera in a place where the light is in front of you, not behind you. Why? Because if the light is behind you, it looks kind of crazy. But if I put this light here, and I actually have 2 lights. I have a window and I have this light. This is like a $10 Aldi light that I got from the supermarket. Tip 3, don't hit your microphone. But anyway, you put 1 light here, you put 1 light there, and the effect is it's super cinematic actually almost. Like I got light here, I got light there, and I pop up off the background. Now I've got this fancy little pegboard thing from IKEA with another Aldi light behind it. If you can get some background light that also makes things pop, create a little distance. But it's really fun when you have your room set up in a way that it looks great on Zoom. But if it doesn't look great on Zoom, Zoom and Google Meet both have really excellent backgrounds, and the better you're lit, the more accurately that screen fake background thing is gonna work, even without a green screen. So set up your lights in front of you. You'll look super crispy and super clean. You can't pass each other business cards on Zoom. So what do you do? What I do is I keep in Notepad or in my chat app. I've got actually a text automation app, but that's fancy. You could just put it in Notepad or a Word doc. Keep your essential business information right there, handy, and then drop it in the chat at an appropriate moment. Now don't just go spamming it every 2 seconds, because that will drive people insane. But if there's a moment in the meeting where you're invited to talk about yourself, or you just got in a breakout room with some people that you don't know so well, definitely quickly Control-C, copy, Control-V, paste that bad boy into the chat. Or on Mac, I'm not a Mac person, but it's like, what do you call it? Option, squiggly, squiggly, VC, squiggly, squiggly, V. Dump that thing in the chat. You copy it, you paste it, you drop it in, and everyone can know how to connect with you. Bonus tip, put your Calendly link in that. If you've got one of those neat little automated calendars for people to book time with you, and leave an instruction, book a time with me. You'd be surprised how much more conversions you get when you actually tell people what to do with that link, because it's actually kind of confusing if you don't put it in. How to take your social media networking to the next level. So let's say you met someone neat in a Facebook group and you just started like a chat in the comments, or maybe it went a little bit further and you're in the DMs now. All right, we're getting onto something. Well, you know what you can do? You can invite them to a quick Zoom call. And why is that cool? It's because video is like a complete brain shortcut to know, like, and trust. And that gives you the inside track on really getting to know each other, becoming friends with each other, and doing some good business with each other. And that's important because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So when you're doing stuff online, now you don't always have to take your networking offline. You can do it in an online format like Zoom that helps you connect a little better, a little faster. You know, because there's all those little nuances when we're talking on video. Intonation, facial expressions. I can tell if you're joking. I can tell if you're serious. I can tell what kind of a person you are. And you can tell that about me. It's a little bit vulnerable, but it's really cool. And so that's why it's great to take your online networking on the social media, a little bit off social media, but still online, to Zoom. Amp yourself up a little bit because the camera, I learned this from Think Media on YouTube. The camera makes you look about 10 to 20 pounds heavier and about 80% of your energy. You lose energy and you look heavier when you're on camera. So why am I shouting? Because if I talk in my normal voice, it doesn't really come across. So come at it with some enthusiasm, amp yourself up. I don't know. Don't drink too much coffee, but maybe have a coffee, you know, before you get on the call. Or better yet, I put on some Kanye or some Jay-Z or some Wu-Tang and get hyped before the call. It's kind of a Tony Robbins thing, you know, jump around, you know, kind of thing. Get all excited. But and don't sign on until your breath and your BPM, your heart rate comes back down a little bit. But, you know, wake yourself up a bit because the camera does make you look a little less energy and a little, I don't know, it just isn't the best look. You come across as a wonderful person in real life, and the camera cuts that down to 80% wonderful, unless you turn yourself up a bit. Networking on Zoom? Did you know that your name could be helpful for your networking? So when you're networking on Zoom, change your name if the administrator allows you to do it, and make sure it's not just your name, but your title. Bonus points if you can make it funny or call out something interesting that might confuse people a little bit, but you have a good explanation. Like I have right here, Noon Networkers. Well, what's Noon Networkers? Well, it's my favorite networking group ever, and I love inviting people because whenever they come, they close business, they make meaningful connections, and often we close business too. It's a good time. You want to come to this thing? Noon Networkers is awesome. Or people ask, hey, what's a funnel? I'm like, you don't know what a funnel is? I'm gonna need a 2-hour YouTube. No, I don't need a 2-hour YouTube video for that. But honestly, like you put those little code words that get people curious about who you are and what you do. See what I did there? I didn't close that loop. You can connect with me personally, and I'll tell you what that is, right? But you want to leave little open loops, but also descriptive things like web designer is in my description on almost every meeting that I walk into. So people will be like, oh, it just kind of sets off that thing in the back of the brain. Oh, my cousin Vinny was looking for a web designer. Look at that guy. Maybe I should connect with him. Then when you drop your info in the chat, like a virtual business card, like I told you to, then that guy's be like, oh, let me send that over to Vinny, right? Right? So it gets your name out there a little bit more. A lot of people don't do it, but the name on Zoom is a huge hidden opportunity that if you just do it habitually, I guarantee sooner or later something good's gonna happen.